discuss discontinuing the regular monthly work sessions. Motion if necessary to discontinue the monthly work sessions and or notice, to hold them if necessary. Alright, so with regard to the work session, we're pushing a lot of the work session work onto the committees, which is probably where the work session work should take place. And they're specific. So I don't know if, in my opinion, it's really necessary to have work sessions anymore, because, like I said, the committees are doing all of that work. So anything we need to discuss, specific to whatever topic we need to discuss, will be discussed in a committee meeting, and then brought to Borough Council for a recommendation where we discuss it again. I don't know if the redundancy of having a work session is actually necessary. That's why I figured we could discuss it. I know they're time consuming, meeting twice a month is a lot of effort, especially if we all have individual committee meetings and assignments that we have to meet for. So that means some of us are having 3 or 4 meetings a month. I don't know if it's necessary. That's why I figured put it on the agenda. We could discuss it. If we want to keep working with work sessions, we could do it. If not, not. But I want to get everybody else's thoughts. So Zach,
I remain a proponent of the work session. I arranged my committee meetings so that they're the week after the regular meeting, so that things that come out of the regular meeting that need committee attention, the committee talks about, the committee then takes it to the work session to inform everybody what the committee's doing, and then from the work session, the work goes to council, to this business meeting for ratification. When we first started doing work sessions 3 years ago, something like that, it was something I wanted, and I continue to want them.
Alright, so just so I'm clear, you want to do work in the work session, and then the week after, bring that work to the committees, and then do the work in the
I put, I go borough, I go council meeting, then I go committee, then work, so that I can tell at the work session what the committee's done. 2 weeks later, back to the council meeting is the way.
Okay, so
in my head I structured things.
So borough council meeting, committee meeting, work session, and then borough council meeting. And then the work you're doing in the committee is the work specific to whatever your committee is.
Right.
The roads, whatever,
Right.
Personnel. And then, what are you bringing, you're just an
So the work
announcement
session, I
at the
just
work
kind of, we
session?
talk about it like we've been doing.
Well, why can't we just do that at a regular meeting, a regular public meeting, as opposed to a work session? 'Cause we're not doing
He's
any
the one
work.
that wants to get rid
The
of
work
it.
session, and it's just an announcement, we can make announcements on the
Yeah,
website
we
or.
talk about those announcements, and we pay our solicitor and our engineer to sit in while we're talking about those
Understood.
announcements.
But all the work has already been done in the committee, you guys are just making a recommendation, and then we have a brief.
Isn't that
discussion
beating
about
the
what you're
witness?
gonna do anyway. And then, I don't know if it adds any more not having a work session, I'm just trying to factor in if there's any other benefit to the work session, and I appreciate what you're saying, I just wanna work it out in my mind. So does anybody else wanna?
You said it, and I stand by my,
No, I hear you, I'm not trying to.
That's why we like Zach.
Yeah,
That's why we like you, Zach.
I think at this point in time, we have a lot of stuff on the table. And the fact that the work sessions originally were designed to try to keep the council meetings within a reasonable amount of time, so we wouldn't have extra legal expenses and so on. But I think by having a work session right now, you give all of council the opportunity to discuss what the committee meetings have come up with, and also the public. And I think that there's more positive than negative to the work session at this point in time. I know it's an extra meeting a month, but I think it's warranted right now, because we do have a lot of things to take care of. We can always down the road maybe go as needed, if we can lighten the agenda. But I just think there's a lot of value in having all of council and the public, an opportunity to evaluate and discuss some of the things that we have,
He ran.
some of the problems we have.
He ran.
So I think for now,
But he ran.
I would be in favor of continuing the work
Just two
sessions.
meetings a month.
And giving everybody an opportunity to chime in.
Okay, sounds good. Lisa, you wanna?
Yes, I'm definitely in favor of continuing the work sessions. I have two committees where I'm a committee of one, and the only time that I actually get to engage other people and bring them into what I need help with is at the work
Maybe we
session.
should help Lisa.
Also, when I first came on council, there were no work sessions. And I was also not placed on any substantive committees. So each month I would come to the meeting and I was not in conversation with what was going on in the other committees, yet I had a vote to vote on those matters and had no information or discussion until I got to the monthly meeting. What we do in the work sessions, we are a council of 7, and everybody has a base of knowledge about something different. And when we come to the work sessions, before we have to vote on it, I get to pick your brains of knowledge on those particular things, because sometimes I'm, over, or my area of responsibility is something that someone else has more knowledge on. So we need those work sessions to talk about those things, and like I said, to engage other people and to dispel some of the issues that we have before we come here in the meeting and drag it out, chawing on it. So I think that the work sessions are very necessary. In fact, when I came on council, I was surprised there were no work sessions. It was once a month.
Bill, you wanna say anything on this, Bill?
I think we continue with the work session until next year, the beginning of the year, and see how, at least that long, clear the backlog.
Alright, what about, in terms of making the work sessions more productive and effective, what if we change the format slightly to make it more about committees, workshopping whatever they're working on? Instead of just having general items on the work session, we just talk about, we go through the committees and we just discuss whatever the committees wanna discuss at a public meeting that they,
Isn't that what
either
you do now?
they talked about at their own committee meeting or whatever. So this way we could, you know, if you wanna pick our brains or whatever about whatever's going on in your committee, because I got a committee of 1, 2, with sanitation, and I don't, you know, there's really no committee. So if you make a recommendation, we do it in the work session first, and we talk about it, and then discuss it with the public, and then bring it back to the council meeting and the public.
It would be good if the committees themselves are the ones that decide what they want to discuss in the work session, as opposed to just kind of throwing us some hodgepodge, random.
Well, obviously, the
different things.
committees would just, like, you would tell me, hey, I wanna talk about this, and that would go in the work session meeting.
Absolutely, and if we make sure we stop, no longer put things on the agenda that we haven't discussed in the work session, and keep those first discussions for the work session, it'll be more
I don't know if
productive.
we necessarily need an agenda. I mean, what I'm saying to you is that we come to the work session meeting, and if you wanna talk about something with your committees, go right ahead, and we can work on that, we don't need a set agenda.
No, we
If
don't.
you wanna talk about something specific, we can make an agenda if you like, but otherwise,
I think an agenda is only needed if something comes up in a regular meeting, and sometimes we say we need to table that for the work session because we really need to discuss it. On those terms, those things would be put on the agenda. It needs to be tabled because we need to have further discussion on this. That would compile the agenda, and then the committees, we will talk about what we need to talk about with our committees. And get information that we need, so that we know whatever motion we need to make in the
Alright.
regular meeting.
I'm a little, maybe I'm just confused, I'm trying to figure out the most effective way to use the work session, and I don't understand what you.
So if we
Trying to
have,
say that.
if we have something that comes up in a regular meeting,
So that's one.
At a regular,
like this
Public
meeting,
forum.
and we say, let's table it for the work session because we need to discuss it, that would be something that would actually be an agenda item for the work session.
Yeah, but
Aside from that,
why wouldn't you talk about that in a committee meeting? Like, if someone says something about the water rates.
because it might not be
Maybe
my
Missy-
committee.
Maybe Missy brings something up.
Yeah, but Missy's not at the work session.
No, but maybe she brings something up at the regular meeting, like, there's
Yeah.
a grant, or there's, something needs to be done to Kimberly,
Okay.
something needs to be done here, or whatever.
And
Then,
why not
and,
go to
and, and
committee?
then you guys sit here and you say, well, why don't we discuss that at the work session?
Yeah, but
Instead of
it's in
having
the
a drawn
committee
out conversation
domain.
here.
Why
But
would
we're
we,
not
why
all-
would
we're
it go
not-
straight to
We're
committee?
not
You
all
can't take
in every
defeat.
committee.
What was that?
We're not all, when I came on council, I was
No,
in no
understood.
committee, I was not on personnel, I was not on
Well, we
water, I
have
was not,
committees to separate out the work, like.
but
so
they
that
still need to
roads
talk to the
and
rest of the
roads
council.
and right, and everything ultimately comes back to council with the recommendation from the chair of the committee.
But sometimes we need to discuss it before we come up for a vote. We need to discuss it together before it
Okay.
comes up for a vote. I need to have a full understanding of what Rose is telling me before they ask me to vote on it in this meeting. They need to explain it to me, tell me what the ins and outs are, because I am a vote, and so I need to discuss it with them. If I'm doing something in the parks, and I just bring it to the table and say, this is what I'm doing, and you all haven't had any input on it,
Well,
then we need to take it back to a work session to
that's not
discuss
what
it.
you would be doing. You would be saying, I, as the chair of the Parks Committee, recommend we do this, and this is why, and then we can issue.
I think you're
questions.
both saying the same thing. I think you're both saying that at work session, you'll discuss things that come up with committees, but sometimes maybe there's something that comes up at a public meeting on this meeting that you wanna talk at a work session that may not fit into the realm of a committee, and that would also need to be discussed. in
And
a work
that's why I
session.
put in here if we needed a work session to have one, but, because sometimes these work sessions, honestly, they're very unproductive, we don't do anything except, it's a bitch session, which is fine, but, to sit here for an hour and a half and not do anything meaningful or productive, it's a waste of everybody's time.
Maybe if we were in silence, it wouldn't be a bitch session.
Sessions are very productive, and that's
I'm
my.
100%
against the
fine
rule?
leaving them exactly where they
Unbelievable.
are.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that, because we weren't just.
You're
we had to
outvoted.
Work with the committee.
Yeah, he won't,
But
can't,
that's
he can't
fine,
take
and we
defeat.
could always revisit this. The only other thing I had with the committees is referrals and delegations. I mean, obviously, there are things that naturally should go to a committee, like water stuff, related stuff should go to the water committee. But how do we,
Let
how
me
do we
give,
do
let
the
me give you an
referrals?
example of why a work session is really, really needed.
Okay.
We have a committee right now that sent us in the last work session a list of events that they had planned, and none of them have come to the council. Planned, organized, advertised, money collected, and we have no knowledge of what's going on with that committee, and the borough is gonna be responsible for the events, probably be insuring it, and we have no details of what is going on in that
We
event.
absolutely agree on that, but what would the work session would have done? Change
Well, if
it?
that person had come to the work session,
I'm saying, did the work session do anything to change it? It wasn't, it didn't produce anything.
Jamie, are you asking a question, do you want me to answer?
Go ahead, answer.
The person did not come to the work session, did not present what they planned to do to us, saw it in advertisement in the public, and even now, the event is scheduled with people coming. They even asked for the road to be closed without conferring with the council.
We agree.
And we are now, and you spend a lot of time
I-
talking,
you
wait a
agree-
minute, let
we
me
agree.
finish answering you. You spend a lot of
You
time
just wanna
talking
attack
about.
someone or
Would
beat
you
up
let
on
me
someone?
answer
Go
you,
ahead.
please?
Yes, go ahead, answer.
You spend a lot of time talking about the liability of the borough, and
Yes,
yet we have a whole committee that's planned on, not one, two, or three events, and we have absolutely no details as to what it is encompassing. We've got vendors coming, I had someone text me last weekend, said, how come your borough is charging $100 for a booth in your event? I have no idea, because I didn't know there were gonna be booths. Where are the booths gonna be? The road is being closed by the Bridge Commission.
the borough's not doing any of that, so I don't,
But
I
the
don't know
borough,
what
it
the
is a
issue
borough
is, but-
event, it is a borough
Okay.
event on borough property in the road with people coming in, what is our
Because it's in the
liability?
borough, doesn't mean it's a borough event, and I appreciate what
But
you're
it was-
saying,
what-
we discussed this already, and we
No,
both agree.
no,
So there's no reason, we both agree.
No, I'm
We
still
absolutely
discussing
agree.
it, no, we're not agreeing, Jamie, because the
What do we
event
disagree on?
is a borough event, because it was planned through a borough committee.
Okay.
And you have talked here,
Borough committees don't have power to do any action whatsoever. They have to come to borough council, make a recommendation, and then we take it.
and it was not done.
So then if it wasn't done, then how is that an official action of the borough? If we didn't authorize it, how is it an official action of the borough? It's not. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, but, I mean,
Because it is being advertised
Understood.
on the borough website as a borough event, and it was done by a council member.
understood.
And it is using the borough as coverage as an activity. It is a borough event. It is not a borough event. Then open up the street, get out of the park, and stop charging. And where's the money going?
Understood. I'm not trying to.
Should we
argue.
have Debbie weigh in on this?
I'm not trying to
She
argue.
has.
I just wanna talk about whether or not the work session will be productive. That's it, but I,
But
and
you
I think
failed
we've
to
covered
listen
that.
to the answer to the
And-
question,
But I
Jamie.
think we all agree that they are still productive, and we're gonna see what
I
happens.
don't think we
And
all
that's it,
agree.
right? So that's where we're at on that. So discussion of discontinuing the regular monthly work sessions, we discussed it. We don't need to make a motion because we're not moving to discontinue the work sessions. Issue resolved.
Let's move on, let's.
Can
move on to
I
committees,
ask
like
if
stuff.
that
Yeah,
particular, if that particular, arrangements are having alcoholic beverages served, is that okay? I mean, the state must license that, for, even beyond the insurance, can you do that?
Vendors permit.
I think you have to have a specific vendor's permit, so it's a specific license from the, liquor control board to serve alcohol outside your establishment.
Yes, you do.
And what I would say that's an extension of a restaurant would fall in that category, but if you don't own a restaurant, you decide for some reason you're gonna sell alcoholic beverages down the street without a license or without the ownership of something that isn't licensed, is that permitted?
You still need, it's something from the liquor control board to sell alcohol, so if you were like doing sometimes there's wine tastings, I know someone who used to do wine tastings at a place over the Castle Inn, they had a specific type of license from the PLCB, or if it's a special event, there's some sort of specific special event license, vendor license that you can get from the PLCB, but you have to be licensed to sell alcohol in any capacity.
Not just serving, like,
So we could ask whoever was gonna do that to produce such a license. Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Just for the record, that's not friends of. We had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with that,
Didn't
so,
think so.
Whole business.
just to let you know.
Alright, discuss event park permits and rules. Deb sent us a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so we've gotten the copies of the Stroud Regional